advantage of higher altitude, lower risks for inundation, plus prime locations with breathtaking views of San Juanico Strait and the mountains. The University of the Philippines Tacloban campus is moving to the north and should help boost demand for goods and services in the area. Road reblocking has commenced, jump-starting the development of a transport system to link downtown to the north, so the future for Tacloban North is looking bright. Meanwhile, the city continues to coordinate with various donors to rebuild educational and health facilities throughout the city. Pacific Partnership, which consisted of military delegations from the US, Australia, and Japan, helped us rebuild schools and bring health services to the people. The Barangayan, a weekly activity monitoring the delivery of social services, which was instituted even before Yolanda, has now been restored. Prior to Yolanda, Tacloban City was the regional center for business, industry, education, culture, and governance in the 6 provinces of Region 8. The city government recognized that to reclaim its role as the hub of Eastern Visayas, local businesses needed to get back on their feet as soon as possible. To help them, the city government allowed generous deferment options for real property taxes, business permit fees, and other local duties. All 54 banks, including a branch of the Bangko Sentral, have already reopened. Robinsons and Tugay Sana malls have also reopened. In addition, SM has opened a new Save More outlet. Downtown Tacloban is as busy as ever, so one-way street systems had to be implemented to alleviate traffic congestion. In the city's rural outskirts, the Canadian, Australian, and Polish governments are directly involved in livelihood projects. USAID is also currently funding fisheries and farming projects to help improve Tacloban's food security. The Salvation Army is building a brand new livelihood training center, and a Korean technology firm is constructing a new energy-to-waste facility. In spite of the challenges brought about by Yolanda, the city has managed to maintain the seal of good housekeeping, the Department of Local and Interior Government's recognition of excellence in financial accountability. This, plus increasing economic activity throughout the city, continues to rebuild investor confidence in Tacloban. Tacloban aspires to become the country's most disaster-resilient city and has held intensive workshops to update the city's disaster preparedness plan and to institutionalize the learnings from the Yolanda experience. Typhoon Ruby was an opportunity for Tacloban to apply those lessons. A few days before its expected landfall, Mayor Romualdez issued an executive order to suspend schools and offices, preempting the usual storm signals given by Pagasa. This gave the citizens of Tacloban ample time to stock up on supplies. City Hall and other public facilities were boarded up. Carefully planned and orderly evacuation of vulnerable communities began early. So after 24 hours of being pounded by Typhoon Ruby's winds, Tacloban emerged with 0 casualty. Tacloban is also sharing these lessons in various venues abroad, out of a desire to give back to the world that came to aid at such a desperate time. Mayor Romualdez has been speaking on his disaster risk reduction and management advocacy, notably in Singapore, the United States, the UN Climate Summit, the World Bank's Reconstruction Conference, in conversations with leaders of cities affected by the Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami, New York City, and Israel, in an audience that included Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The construction of a training facility for disaster preparedness, funded by the UNDP, is underway. Studies are also being conducted to site a new radio communications tower on high ground. And finally, the city is also building a volunteer force of first responders that will also serve to advocate disaster preparedness in their homes and workplaces. The ultimate goal is a culture of preparedness, down to every man, woman, and child. Tacloban City recognizes the overwhelming outpouring of kindness, both from our Filipino brothers and sisters, and numerous friends from overseas, heads of states, dignitaries, humanitarian organizations, journalists, and private groups and individuals. Typhoon Yolanda brought about one of the most massive humanitarian crises this country has ever faced. But it showed us that the world can come together in dynamic collaboration to see a devastated city rise from the ashes, build back better, and emerge as no less than a global model for disaster resilience. For the children, the future of Tacloban City.
Thank you. I'm showing you this video presentation in behalf of the mayor who would have presented this earlier. So I'm sure you were touched by the things that we are doing. So I'm going to present what our office is now doing. We have this Tacloban Development Group, which with the help of the UN Habitat, is helping us prepare for the future. So I'd like to make a report of our output. Okay, reconstructing Tacloban. Visions from the infrastructure group. Our group is comprising of the city planning and development office, office of the city architect, city engineer's office, and other offices of the city government, and of course, with the help of UN Habitat, who has been with us from the beginning, to our very wonderful friend, Mr. Chris Rodio of UN Habitat, who is here today with us. And of course, Andy, and the city housing department headed by Ms. Maria Lagman. So this is a team effort that we are coming up. And so the outline of my presentation, number one is the goals of Tacloban towards reconstruction. Number two, the objectives and key infrastructure projects, which you have seen earlier, the shelter and social services, the land use planning of Tacloban North, and the support for the resettlement. Dynamic revitalization that includes the proposed Kabataan Port development in the north and the Tacloban cruise industry development, which is being proposed as part of the tourism project. The dynamic revitalization, including the the environment, of course, the Tacloban Waterfront Park development, which I'm going to present later, and the physical infrastructure that includes the road network planning. And lastly, the recommendations in the construction planning. We have 5 goals, which is defined in the Tacloban Recovery and Rehabilitation Plan towards reconstruction. Number 1 is the shelter, to provide housing options, ensure supply of adequate land, and prepare supportive plans and policies, and ensure provision of basic services and economic opportunities. Number 2, social services, to improve our quality of life through restoration of essential community services for health, education, and social welfare, and peace and order. Third is the economic revitalization, which is to revive economic vitality and increase productivity, diversify our economy, increase food security, and maintain security of businesses. Fourth is the environment, to enhance coastal protection, water resource quality, and waste management. Update our land use plan and local building guidelines. In fact, we are also on the verge of upgrading our building code, which is being localized. Of course, also through the help of UN Habitat, we are trying to upgrade the design perimeters. And of course, improve early warning evacuation system. Fifth is the physical infrastructure. We have to fast track repair and rehabilitation of physical infrastructure considering the risk resilience and environmental and social responsiveness. As mentioned earlier in the video presentation, now we are focused, aside from the rehabilitation of the main city proper, of course we are revising our comprehensive land use plan, which was prepared before the onset of Typhoon Yolanda. So after Typhoon Yolanda, we had to redesign the comprehensive land use plan of the city. So right now, we are still in the verge of finalizing our land use plan, and we are also focused on the north, which is becoming our focal point, because the north side of Tacloban is the safest part of the city. We are moving more than 14,000 households to the north. This is we are here right now. This native part is the city proper, and the northern part of the city is here. It's along the San Juanico Strait. So this north is around okay. The objectives of for our key projects, including the land use plan, is to complete formulation and update the land use plan and the inclusion of the North Development Project, which we are doing now, and enforce planning processes and corresponding social facilities to support the resettlement. Since village economies thriving then are gone with Yolanda, there is a need to regenerate community economies to provide supplemental sources of income and livelihood to poor and displaced families. Residents must have a wider range of options for income generation, if not gainful employment. Of course, if we have move people in the north, we provide houses, but if there is no livelihood program, surely they will go back to their old places. So, and land use planning in the north provides sufficient economic safety nets and livelihood opportunities to cushion the adverse effects of slow recovery. So, I'd like to show you what we are doing in the north. As far as this is the existing infrastructures in the area, and of course we want to provide for the infrastructure for shelter and social services. Right now there are about 14 sites of housing units, and which the team has visited yesterday, and they've seen what's going on. And of course, it's not just simply building houses that makes the relocation successful. We have to consider other aspects, like, of course, we are providing the shelters. The housing units, by the way, is being funded by the National Housing Authority. There are about 14,000 homes that are going to be built in that area. So imagine there will be around 80 to 100,000 people will be in the north. So it's one of the major parts of the city by in the near future. This will be a big growth area of the city. So we will be relocating also businesses and other amenities in the north. That includes, of course, we have the proposed public market. We have a 2-hectare government-owned property which we're developing as a town center. We'll have the public market, of course the Bagsakan and trading post, which is also being funded by UNDP. Actually, for your background, before Typhoon Yolanda, many years ago, the Tacloban North was supposed to be our growth area as per plan. And but the number of housing units was not anticipated to be more than 14,000 because we're only addressing the housing needs of the future locators. So the scenario changed when Typhoon Yolanda came and we had to move people from the coastal areas, and now especially coming from San Jose, Magallanes, and Anibong areas, which was heavily damaged by the Typhoon Yolanda. So we have to move them up to the north. So that changed the whole scenario. So we really have to replan our north. So it also includes, we have proposed commercial and shopping district. And all, by the way, these illustrations are just taken from references, but this is not yet what we are doing. So it's a long way to go, so that's why I was kidding Professor Minoara last night that the airport is closed for several days, so they cannot leave Tacloban. I hold them hostage for a while, so they would help me design the norm. Thank you, Mr. K, for accepting the challenge. So I just provide for the meals, and they will help us. So, but fortunately, the airport is now open, so you can leave tomorrow. But we'll get in touch through internet. Okay. These are the, we also have a proposed government center because we have to address the needs of the people as far as governance is concerned. There will be a mini city hall in the north, for example, like the office of the civil registry, of course the police, and medical facilities. By the way, for the information of the gentleman here, the Department of Health is also transferring the major hospital, which is the Eastern Visayas Medical Center, which is located after the Lake Park, which was also heavily damaged during the Typhoon Yolanda. So the government, the national government, has decided to move to the north the Eastern Visayas Medical Center, so that would add up to the facilities that are readily will be available in the north. I'm sure you've seen them yesterday in Bagakay when you went on the way to the north. There's a major hospital. So it's, of course, JICA is also helping us, and they're funding the outpatient department. So this is the, of course, we have to provide for public transport. So public terminal, bus terminal will be included in the design of the complex. And of course, we're not only talking about land transportation. Considering that it is along the north is along the San Juanico Strait, we'll be providing, just like in Venice, a sea transport system, a ferry system that will transfer people from the north going to Tacloban, even to the airport. So it will be a big help. There will be no traffic actually. So, and there are private entrepreneurs who are already who has presented to us their idea. It will be a public-private partnership program. Okay. This is the proposed idea of the private sector. They provide the tourist industry as well as the commuters. There will be a ferry service from the north, and of course it will pass through the San Juanico Bridge, and of course through the downtown area. And sorry to move fast. Okay. And also one aspect is the actually we are right here now. This is State Park, and so the private entrepreneurs are also proposing a growth area in this coastal portion of the city, which includes the Balyuan and the UP Botanical Garden, and of course the Lions Den. So there will be a proposed commercial and entertainment area for the place, alongside with the plan of the JICA to provide a coastal protection. This is how it looks. We are right here now at Lake Park. Okay. This is the City Hall, that is the amphitheater. So actually this is still a preliminary design stage. So actually the mayor has not seen this because this was emailed to me a few days ago. Okay. And of course, on road and transport planning, we will, as mentioned earlier, we will try to improve the mobility from the central district to the new settlement and the proposed East Visayan Road area and other northern municipalities. Papatman is out to the north, that is where the proposed port will be located, because we have our port here, which is considering the navigational problems in the San Juanico state, there's a proposal to put up a new port in Babaton area. And right now the Philippine Ports Authority is conducting a major study of the feasibility of relocating, building a new port in the north to serve also the proposed light industry facilities in the north. Of course, transportation and road network as part of the plan. And right now, the city, through the DPWs, is constructing already a bypass road in the southern part of the city. So hopefully in the future that will include a bypass road to ease the load of the traffic in the existing national road going to Babatnon. So, and we are meeting regularly with the DPWs and of course with the JICA regarding this project. So, lastly, our recommendations for the reconstruction planning. Number one is the need to continue coordination to ensure inputs to the city are harmonized, and to explore possible links with local universities and of course with foreign universities to provide technical assistance. And the need to process to be city-driven and not donor-driven. The process should be at a pace that is necessary for the city and required by the national government for focus on the comprehensive land use plan, which we are doing. And lastly, to further improve communication with communities on housing and infrastructure projects, and people need more personal interaction and explanation. Thank you, and that's all.
Thank you so much, Architect Danilo Puentagalia from the City Architect Office of Tacloban City. Our last speaker is from Minohara Urban Planning, Mr. K. Minohara. A round of applause, please.
Good morning, everybody. Well, I come from Japan, and I spent 2 days here looking around, observing what has happened here in Tacloban. And I feel strongly that we are on the same footprint. You see, we are located on the Pacific Rim, which are on the footprint of the Pacific Trough, which are almost perpetually moving and shaking us. And Japan has been, before the 2020 or 2011, we have suffered a great disaster in the eastern Japan region, in which Professor Ubaura has described quite briefly. But we are expecting another big ones. and the probability is very high, and we are expecting another, perhaps 2 big earthquakes within 20 or 30 years. And perhaps the possibility of eruption of volcano is again very high. And I wonder, so that's what I feel here, that we are on the same boat. Because not only the earthquake and then the volcano's eruption, also the typhoon, we are sharing the risks of the typhoon. So we are the people who live in the region where the perpetual risks are emerging, almost perpetually, frequently, and how to reconcile our daily stable life with this kind of risks. That is a basic question that we have to be confronted. And perhaps this is a key issue here today also. And I'd like to present you 2 concrete the images about. The one is a very small disaster which has been occurred in Nara Prefecture, Totsukawa village, one of the most remotest forestry village of Japan, where I have been engaging in the reconstruction program of about 4 years. And the other one is that the total, how it has been transformed after the 1923 earthquake and after 1945 almost human disaster which are suffered by the air bombarding by the United States Army, the Air Force. Okay, now I start showing you an image. Okay. Now, that's the location of the Totsukawa village in Prefecture in Japan, archipelago. And this is the scene of the Totsukawa. You see, Japan has been a mountain country. It has been, Japan archipelago are covered with very heavy forestry. And this is one of the most typical forestry village in Japan. And of course with this beautiful river, and beautiful, the old road, which has been built almost about 800, 700, 800, 900 years ago. It has been now designated as the landmark, the legacy. Now this is another the road, which has been very the old one. And these are actually the graves of the villagers, without any of the gravestones. This is old, almost already abandoned primary school, which are now converted as kind of a village museum. The scene of the Japanese, and these old ladies is still. She's very old, but she's still working, you see, nurturing cultivating their cultural products. This is a village, a very aged society. The household with the age of 65 years old is more than 40% of all the old dwellings, old households. But it's kind of the paradise. You can see a small, beautiful bird. Then it comes to your hands. If you extend your hand, it's almost like a paradise. But now, because of the very concentrated heavy rain, big landslides all happen. Quite an extensive landslides happened. And the river was almost dumped. And the 12 people died and missed, and the many households are destroyed. And you see, some of the people should be accommodated to the temporary houses. The bridges, you see, thrown away. So we have started building transitional housing. But because in the prefecture of Nara, the government official, the housing department of prefecture of Nara is very wise, so he considered that this construction process should be done by the local people themselves, utilizing the local materials. So they try to use the Totsukawa schools with the carpenters and those kind of construction workers who reside in the Totsukawa. And they have built almost 30 units of this kind of temporary houses by wood. And it happened to be less costly, cheaper than the industrially prefabricated temporary houses, which are strongly recommended by the national government, unfortunately. This is the one which they have built. This stuff. I think the theme of this conference perhaps centered around the concept of resilience. And the resilience means that, as Professor Espina has told, that how the local people can regain their forces again to struggle against the natural disasters, natural as well as human disasters. So that you see, our peril, our danger is almost the permanent. Every 20 or 30 years, we have to tackle against this kind of the peril. So we have to always prepare to reconstruct, survive, and to start again our normal life, you see. So how we can reconcile this kind of the process is the basic problem we have to tackle with. And this is the temporal houses. And of course this can be lasted for 5-7 years, but the national government regulation, the provided that these temporal houses should be removed within 3 years it should be, the resident here should be transferred to the permanent houses. And in the case of Totsukawa, they have succeeded in building the public housing. These are the public housing. This is the public housing. And we have built 14 dwelling units by now. And so everybody, each who wants to be removed to the public housing are now safely accommodated in these houses. Now, we have already, because we have finished this kind of the reconstruction period, then we have started again to the new stage of the urban village development. So that, this is the, again, the public, all these units are public housing.